Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Spooky Sunday video. So in today's video, we are going to be reading stories about women who survived murder attempts. As you know, if you're a watcher of my channel, I like to avoid true crime and I like to focus on the spooky, scary stuff like ghosts, paranormal things, haunted houses, weird places in the ocean, weird bugs, things like that. But I do like to read survivor stories because I do feel like we learn a lot from them. So we're going to be reading some stories about women who survived murder attempts today. As always, the link will be in the description in case you want to go over and have a read of the full article. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So the first story is about Mary Vincent. On September 29th, 1978 in Berkeley, CA, 15-year-old Mary Vincent accepted a ride from Larry Singleton, a 51-year-old merchant seaman. However, instead of taking the teenager to her destination, Singleton raped Vincent, used a hatchet to cut off both of her forearms, and tossed her body off a 30-foot cliff near Modesto, CA. While Singleton left the teenager for dead, Vincent pulled herself back up off the cliff, eventually getting the help of a passing motorist who took her to a hospital for urgent medical care. Several months after nearly ending Vincent's life, Singleton was convicted of rape, kidnapping, attempted murder, mayhem, and oral sodomy, and he was given the maximum sentence at the time, which was 14 years and 4 months. That's insane. Incredibly, after serving just 8 years behind bars, Singleton was released on parole and eventually relocated to Tampa, Florida. On February 19th, 1997, one of Singleton's neighbors called the police. They reported a struggle at Singleton's home. Law enforcement officers responded and found the elderly convict covered in blood and the lifeless body of Roxanne Hayes, a mother of 3, on the floor of his home. In 1998, Singleton was tried and convicted of stabbing Hayes to death, and Mary Vincent, whose prosthetic arms were a silent testament to Singleton's brutality, appeared at his sentencing hearing to testify about the depraved and ruthless attack he subjected her to when she was only 15 years old. Singleton was given the death sentence for killing Hayes, but he died in a prison hospital in 2001. In the years after she was mutilated and left for dead by Singleton, Vincent went on to create an organization, the Marie Vincent Foundation, to help other survivors of violent crimes become a mother and embark on a career as an artist, making her an inspiration to many. Can I just say, why the fuck did he only get 14 years? Like, it's actually pure determination. And look, honestly, that she survived that. She could have died. He obviously had these instincts inside of him, and I think in today's day and age you may get a bigger sentence, but if he'd have got life in prison, maybe the other woman would still be alive. Do you know what I mean? I hate when people make mistakes and then it turns out to then create an even bigger mistake. Do you know what I mean? So annoys me that he only got 14 years, but so glad that she managed to survive and create these amazing organizations, become a mother, become an artist, and live a full, happy life. Let's move on to the next story. This one is about Lisa McVeigh. While riding her bike home from work on November 3rd, 1984, 17-year-old Lisa McVeigh Noland was kidnapped by Bobby Joe Long and taken back to his Tampa, Florida home. She was tied up and blindfolded. For 26 hours, Long repeatedly raped Noland at gunpoint while she begged him not to kill her. While she was afraid her captor would end her life, Noland felt his face, making mental notes of his pockmarks and mustache, so she would be able to describe him to police if she survived the attack. Noland made sure to leave her fingerprints all over his bathroom in order to prove to law enforcement that she had been held captive in his home. Incredibly, after being imprisoned for more than a day by a serial killer who had already murdered several women, Noland managed to convince Long to let her go, telling him her father was ill and he relied on her for help. After reporting the terrifying ordeal to police, Long was arrested and he was eventually convicted of multiple murders and given the death penalty for his crimes. While Long is on Florida's death row awaiting his execution, Noland went on to become a Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputy. As a member of law enforcement, Noland uses her unique skills and experiences to protect her community from people like Long. 2 decades after she was kidnapped and raped by one of Florida's most notorious serial killers, Noland said, "I'm a survivor and a warrior. There's no victim." I feel like I've heard this story. Is this a movie? I feel like I've watched this in a movie before, and it's incredible, her survival instincts. And I have learned stuff from learning about this story. And I know it's a messed up society that we have to learn these things. We have to know how to leave evidence. We have to know how to protect ourselves. But I guess it's just something that right now we have to do, and I do feel like I learned a lot from that. And I do also feel like I've watched a movie. If you've seen the movie, please comment it down below, because I do feel like it exists somewhere. But I also love her saying about how there's no victim, there's a warrior and a survivor. I love that. And again, I'm really happy that she went on to live a happy life and that they got caught in the end. Okay, the next one is Cindy Paulson. On June 13th, 1983, Robert Hansen abducted 17-year-old Cindy Paulson and took her back to his home in Anchorage. He chained her up and subjected the teenager to terrifying acts of rape, torture, and sexual assault. Then Hansen forced Paulson into his vehicle and drove to a nearby airport. Hansen, a bakery owner with a wife and 2 children, attempted to make the 17-year-old board his private plane. However, the teenager, certain her captor would kill her if she got onto the aircraft, managed to escape. With handcuffs still on her wrists, she flagged down a passing motorist who took her to safety. While Paulson immediately reported the abduction and rape to law enforcement, even providing them with information that led them right to Hansen's store, the local business owner managed to convince police the teenager was lying to extort money from him. Months later, the authorities finally arrested Hansen for committing multiple murders. A psychological criminal profile by the FBI confirmed the man who attacked Paulson was most likely the serial killer who had taken the lives of multiple women in Anchorage. Hansen was given life in prison for his crimes and ultimately died of natural causes in 2014 while in police custody. Paulson went on to get married and have 3 children, and when a movie was made about Hansen, she actually met with Vanessa Hudgens, who played her in the film, to share the details of her escape. I have not watched this movie. I feel like I need to go and watch this movie. I'm going to try and find out what the name of it is, and then I will go watch it, but that is actually insane. I hope that no one else was killed after she tried to report him, but they said he was a serial killer, so I'm not sure. But it just seems like a common mistake where so many lives could have been saved had the police listened to these survivors, you know. But again, as always, I'm happy that this person managed to move on and have a happy life, but I do feel like there's just a lot of fault from police in a lot of these stories, and it's a shame, honestly. Okay, this is the last one I'm going to do, and this one is Whitney Bennett. In the early hours of July 5th, 1985, Richard Ramirez entered 16-year-old Whitney Bennett's bedroom through an unlocked window. He attacked the teenager with a tire iron and strangled her in the Sierra Madre, CA home she shared with her parents. When she regained consciousness, Bennett screamed for her parents, who promptly got their daughter the medical help she needed to save her life. While Ramirez, who was dubbed the Night Stalker for the brutal murders he committed in and around Los Angeles and San Francisco, stole some of the teenager's jewelry, he left behind a bloody footprint. Law enforcement used this footprint to link the attack to his other crimes. The following month, Ramirez was apprehended, and in 1989, Bennett testified at his trial. She provided valuable testimony against the man who tried to murder her. Ramirez was convicted of multiple counts of murder, sexual assault, and attempted murder, and while he was sentenced to death, he passed away in 2013 due to complications secondary to B-cell lymphoma. So proud of her for going to his trial and testifying against him and helping to put him behind bars for good, because it must have been a really, really difficult thing to do, to stand there and go against somebody that's done that to you, and she saved so many people doing that. Honestly, so proud. And again, as always, so glad they managed to then live happy lives and that he's in jail and died in jail, you know. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you liked it. If you did, please remember to smash a massive thumbs up. Please remember to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.